They have some similarities to, and we played, while I was at Oklahoma, I played Coach Meyer when he was at Florida with Tebow, and to see where it is, there's some similarities still, and they've, like anything, you continue to evolve and tweak it and improve it, and then you build it around your players. And very balanced. Got some excellent skill guys around JT Barrett. He's a great leader, got a good physical presence to him, got a real toughness to him that jumps out on the screen. Critical situations, he makes plays time and time again. Watched him just before this year too in Ohio State, just as a fan of college football. I've always had great respect for Coach Meyer and the success that they've had, and always try to study offenses too, and know that you see something new on any given Saturday, watching the TV, that you better go ahead and start practicing it, because we're all copycats and they all go to the same offensive clinic, and so they do a great job. The proverbial RPOs and the quarterback run game, and that's difficult, particularly if the quarterback can throw it as well. When he's, you got to account for an extra, hat. It's hard to account for, and it's like playing Georgia Tech. It's a lot of triple option principles, gap integrity. Starts with the dive, and you better have that edge set on the outside, and then the play action passes. Again, I watched it with a lot of stress. I watched Georgia Tech play, and it's 3rd and 23, and they're completing it, like it's Joe Namath back there. And anytime you watch Georgia Tech, and everybody's like, how are they doing that? It's, they're not supposed to be able to throw the ball. And of course, Ohio State's a lot better at throwing probably than Georgia Tech. But the reason they're able to, throw the ball with, again, high percentage completion is just because of the stresses that the run game, forces your hand on defense.
Conceptually, it seems similar to what you guys are about. Is that too much to say? Just
I think there's a lot of similarities. There's more similarities than not, without question. And they do a great job. Tim Beck was a GA at Kansas State when I was a player. He's their OC. And then he was a longtime high school coach in the Metroplex there in Dallas. While I recruited there, and so I've known Tim as long as I've known any coach in college football, and he's always done a great job, whether he's at Nebraska or since he's been there at Ohio State as well. So they've done a great job. They've got some special players, skill-wise. Starts with number 4, and boy, Mike Weber's a really good, tough runner as well. Nice compliment. Between the tackles and get outside as well, and big old tight end, makes a great play in 3rd and 18 down the middle against Michigan. When they had struggled to get much going in the throwing game, they make a huge play, great throw, great catch, and tight coverage to set up that game-time field goal. And they got Big 80 on the outside. He makes every big play when they got to have one on the outside. Not single-handedly, but he was a big factor in them pulling away early in that Oklahoma game, making some terrific plays. He had the one where he catches on the, are you Ohio State guy? Or, yeah. No, the one where he catches on the back of the DB. It was just a crazy play. I remember watching that game thinking, golly, how are they reloading? Because I know they had lost. I was at the draft last year, second draft. Not like it's a yearly thing, but was there, and they one after the other Ohio State guy gets taken, and then to see them back where they are is pretty remarkable. Not a real surprise. That's just Urban's a winner. Knows how to recruit, got a great staff. They know how to coach, and one thing that you always see about his football teams, they just kind of get better and better and better as the year goes on. And so,
Brent, you mentioned that there was some element of the option to it when you watch Ohio State's offense go. I've got 2 separate questions about that. One, why can Ohio State run with JT Barrett and get 6 yards when a lot of people might know it's coming? I mean, they rely on that play a lot, and it seems like they just get 6 yards every time. Just dive up the middle. There you go. 2.
Thanks. Yeah. No. I've convinced myself it's not 6. It's less than 6, but now it's back to 6. No.
It might be 8.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you.
And But also at the same time, they've been very successful running, and you said that they're very good at passing, but at times this season they've really struggled in that area. And I was wondering what, when you watch the film, might they struggle with, or what might be the reason for it?
Well, I mean, you know, if there's a struggle, again, remember they're in the playoffs, so they hadn't struggled that much. All right, let's be clear. You know, if they have, it been in throwing situations too, you know, and so, you know, people are dialed up, you know, to stop the throws too. You know, why is he having so much success? Because he has, it's not like he just takes it and runs the quarterback ISO, and they'll do that too. Usually there's another component, you know, whether it's formationally, you know, where there's formationally, there's tempo, there's an edge run that's tied into it, an outside run. There's a read, you know, he's doing what the DN's telling him to do, you know, just like Thomas does at Georgia Tech. You know, if that end's crashing, he's pulling it. He ends up the field, he's ducking it, and it's a constant, you know, stress to you, you know, but it all starts with the dive, and they know that, so they can do it lots of different ways. They can give you the dive in your face with the quarterback pulling it, with the quarterback pitch, with the quarterback throw, all in one play. And so you have to have those four components covered. That's why it's so successful. And then when you have an experienced guy that's a gifted runner, he's going to have success more than not. And then they do a great job putting him in successful situations. And you know, so they're not just lining up in 2x2 and the back's here. You know, that's not what they do. They do all kinds of window dressing, and then they have very explosive players to help complement that quarterback run. And you know, when you got a guy like Ford, you know, you better be focused on. Somebody's got to be focused. You can't have the whole defense focused on him, but you better be able to match up and defend the components that he's a part of too. And they do a good job of tying that in together, not separate. It's not like they get in the I-backs and run the toss to four. You know, I have the jet with the zone, right, with the pop pass, and you better have them all covered. And that's not easy to do, you know.
Does Samuel remind you of anybody